Hi, you guys. This is Celeta here with Video Couch, and we have done some good work. We've gotten a lot out. This is episode 7 of Video Couch, and I cannot wait to upload this on my blog. If you want to also look at or watch some more of my videos, you can go to Video Couch under my WordPress blog called Loving, Living, and Learning. Um, very, I find this so much. I mean, I really enjoy this, doing this with you guys, and sharing with you guys a lot of the information that I've gathered. And I'm sorry, I'll have to make sure I have all my paperwork together. You know how that is when you don't have everything together. But okay, now what I want to do is I'm going to recap on what we talked about in the last couple of days. Prior to episode 6, we're going to go from episode 1 all the way back to 6, and then we're going to start today's episode. And when I finish recapping, then I want to give out our recipe, because it's still cold. It hasn't stopped being cold, and I think it's very important that we finish. Oh, you know what I want to do now? I want to bring in some soups. Let's talk about some soups. Let's find some good soups to discuss here. So while I'm looking for soups, let's kind of recap on what we've already discussed and talked about. We started out with talking about our thought patterns. We talked about how our belief system can be screwed up or messed up by the things that we believe are actuality, when in reality there's no way it can happen. There's no basis for us thinking a certain way. For instance, like I use the example of me crying in front of my husband. In the military, we're taught, we have to be strong, don't cry, don't do this, don't do that. So certain things that are taboo to when you're, excuse me, my lipstick is, there we go. That's taboo when it comes to being in the military, how you have to be strong and you have to make sure you're not doing this and not, and little what you call rules you're supposed to know. And one of them is not crying. Be strong. Don't run to the medics all the time. Suck it up. You can do it. Well, for a long time, one of my pet peeves was crying in front of my husband. I am not supposed to cry in front of my husband because that thought pattern was there, and I continued to think that way. And because I thought that way, it hindered me from being able to release. And the idea that I thought it was being weak, when in reality it's not being weak. It's nothing wrong with crying in front of people. Maybe they need to see you cry, not to get the neediness and the drama. It's just that maybe they need to know that, yeah, I get weak sometimes. Maybe sometimes I do. It's nothing wrong with it. I had to realize that if I didn't change my thought pattern, that it is something wrong with me not crying in front of him. But I realized that because of the emotions that went with me crying in front of him, held me, kept me stuck in that thought pattern that it's against the rules to cry. When in reality, there's nothing wrong with crying. But I had to come to that conclusion. So those are what we call belief, evidential type of beliefs that we have and we deal with on a daily basis. So I basically gave you some examples of those beliefs. And then we talked about, from there, to make things positive, how you can change your whole train of thought, your mindset, to know that there's nothing wrong with you actually crying. There's nothing wrong with you actually believing the way you do, as long as it's not hindering you. Okay? You make that belief a stuck point. So you have to get it beyond the stuck point to something positive by rethinking. When you don't have evidence under something that you believe in, then there's no need for you to believe in it. And that was my whole thing. I had no evidence on believing that it was something wrong with me thinking the way I did. So I had to change the way that I was thinking in order for me to move out of that stuck point or stuck thought. And so that more negative or more positive things can come out of that. I hope that I'm explaining to you guys the way that I interpret that. Okay. Then we talked about our communication styles. That was not hard, but I don't know where I made it so hard to explain um, or summarize. Then we talked about what type of communication person are you? Are you passive aggressive? Are you aggressive? Are you passive? Are you assertive? I found myself being passive aggressive and assertive at the same time. So you can have several of those traits all in the same time, depending on the situation you're in. So we discussed that. Then we went on to dealing with, we also talked about we talked about grief, how we handle grief. Grief, in other words, it's the negative. Grief is not really negative because you can turn grief into something positive once you change your thought pattern. But I thought it was good for us to start out with thinking about things in our lives that have have made us complacent and stagnant. And a lot of it has to do with a lot of negative thought patterns that we have. So when a grief happens, we need to address that grief. Because something that happened to me was something of something detrimental, something wrong happened, I had to write a grief letter to myself to realize that I have a right to grieve. I have a right to be angry. I have a right to forgive in my own time. So that's what that was about. So that was one of the assignments, is to make sure that you are doing a grief letter to yourself to release some of that. And writing is a therapy. Believe me, I love writing, and it is a beautiful therapy. And I love doing it. So that would be a way that you guys can work on how you feel about stuff, is to write it down. Now, also, there was another assignment or segment we talked about, and that's the behavioral. How do you handle different situations? Once the situation happens, what do you do next after the situation? And then how do you deter yourself from doing something negative in that situation that will satisfy you? So what it's called is a behavioral chain analysis, where you start out, like, for instance, the situation was I'm standing in line. Okay, I'm in a long line, and I'm standing there waiting. And what's making me upset and want to lash out is the idea that there is a lady writing out a whole check. Now, because of my impatience and my time management, this became a problem for me. So my situation was the environment, or how I felt vulnerable in the environment, is because if I don't get a grip on it, with her taking so long, I would burst and say something crazy. Well, so in the chain of events, you write down, you're in this situation, what is happening while you're in that situation, what could you think different, or what could you do differently, and then what is the end result? And did you have to, in other words, misbehave to in order for you to feel like you were validated in this situation? No, you don't have to do all that. You basically stand there, and like I said, if you had time management, if you had your time management in place, then you wouldn't have to worry about doing anything else. You know that, okay, it's going to take this long for her to do this, or I could have done something so simple as move to a different line. You see what I'm saying? So you can journalize that, and I said I'm going to do it, and I definitely am going to make and just put one together so you guys can see and actually use it, and see how much it helps. And you can actually put together a journal for yourself in this sense. Journalize how you're feeling about things. Journalize how you would handle these situations so that you'll be able to go back and look at them. When I was talking about the grief letter, I hadn't looked at that grief letter in 2 years. And then when I read it again, I was like, dog, I really wrote this and I really feel this way, it felt better again. So I know that I'm going to have to bring it out more often whenever I feel down. I need to bring it out. It works, okay? Now, another thing we talked about was forgiveness, because to me, that's a big deal for me. I don't forgive everybody. I'm just going to let you know I'm not one of those perfect people that forgive everybody for everything. I just don't. I'm going to be honest with you. And hold that against me if you want, but I'm being honest. I don't forgive everybody on everything. I just don't. So one thing that we can do is, first of all, we have to find the definition of forgiveness for ourselves. What is forgiveness? Then you ask what forgiveness is not. Then we use the 3 targets for forgiveness, which is yourself, another person, a situation, circumstance, or do we forgive God? Because sometimes we don't want to forgive God. Barriers of forgiveness. What would be barriers of forgiveness? Why would you have barriers of forgiveness? I know why. 5. What are the steps to forgiveness? We need to clarify the event. What happened to make me not want to forgive? Just then make a decision to forgive. Is this an event in my life that I really should forgive somebody for? Then you think about the event, then start thinking about it in a different way. Like I said, it's all about changing that mindset. And then you identify with the meaning of forgiveness, and you go back and you look at, what did I say forgiveness is? Does this fit the situation? Does this fit the steps that I need to take to start forgiving? So you do that. So we talked about that, and I thought that was very interesting. And then we went into our sleep, because all of this is a chain reaction from one thing to another. Dealing with our grief, dealing with our passive aggressive, assertive, aggressive, passive type communication skills, depression, our belief system. All of this connects in every way that you think is possible. It all connects to how we move forward in our life and how we deal with our mental, our health, our physical aspects of who we are, our emotional aspects. So sleep is a physical part. It affects our mental, emotional, our physical, and how we think, how we do everything. So sleep was another subject we talked about, and how do we go about getting sleep? How can we change things in our everyday life to make sure that we're getting an adequate enough sleep? Sometimes you can get too much sleep, and sometimes you don't get enough. So you have to learn your body, because your body has its own time clock, and it'll tell you what you need to know. So you have to control, well, your body controls actually when you're tired. It does. And if you're not getting an adequate enough sleep, then it starts to affect everything else. For instance, I talked about the ideal that I go to sleep sometimes all the time actually, with my laptop in my bed. I know they say, according to an article I read, that is no real proof, but that there could be a possibility that we shouldn't do it because of the bright lights of the laptop. But for me, I not only go to sleep with the laptop on, I go to sleep with my television on, but my television has a timer on it, which automatically turns itself off because it's energy saving television. So it turns itself off. So by that time, I'm already asleep. My laptop I keep on because I play this one little game I play. It's a stress reliever game that I play before I go to sleep. I play it until I'm tired. Even though the TV's on, the TV goes off, and then I stop playing, and then I'm asleep. So, and it works for me, even though it's not healthy for me, but it does work for me because once everything's out, my room is total dark, so I get sleep. Okay. And then sometimes when you're depressed, you sleep all the time. So it's a catch-22 in a sense. When you're dealing with a lot of stress and depression and mental anxiety and all that, it makes you want to sleep more, which in turn make you more tired. Okay, so we just have to find a way to balance everything. Okay, then we talked about goals. We talked about how to, first of all, make decisions. And then we talked about goals. How do we plan our goals? And what is a good way to make a good decision, then set out to do our goals. Now, wow, got that out the way, but I know I need to do, I didn't realize it took that long. We went over a lot of things, huh, you guys? So, let's talk about, wow, let's talk about our recipe. And see, most of these recipes are very healthy. We have some cakes and stuff in here, but majority of these recipes are very, very healthy for you. And I thought, oh my God, I love this one. You guys are going to love this. How about some French, these are our low-fat soups, okay? So how about some French onion soup? And if you've ever tasted onion soup, I think it is delicious. And I'm not really a big onion fan, but I do use it in my foods because I do think that they really do a great job in bringing taste and flavor to your food, onion soup. But I'm not a big onion fan, but I know what the benefits are. So let's talk about French onion soup for our recipe of today. Okay? Now, what you need is beef broth, French bread, and mozzarella cheese. You have onions, butter, flour, salt, and pepper on hand. Okay? Now, the ingredients call for 3 medium onions, thinly sliced, 1 tablespoon of butter, 1 1/2 teaspoons of flour, 2 14-ounce cans of beef broth, salt and pepper, 4 slices of French bread toasted, and 1/2 cup of shredded part skim mozzarella cheese, and this serves 4 people. So first of all, you're going to saute your onions in butter in a large saucepan over medium heat until they are tender. Sprinkle onions with flour, cook for about 2 to 3 minutes, stirring continually until golden brown. Add broth, salt, and pepper to taste. Simmer for 20 minutes, preheat broiler. Ladle the soup into the oven-proof bowls. Top each with toast slice and sprinkle with mozzarella cheese. Broil until the cheese is melted. And this serves 4, and it's called the French onion soup. I bet you this is delicious. I bet you it is. I haven't tried it yet, but I bet you that's delicious. So, now that we've gotten that out the way, anytime you guys want to email me, my email address is SeletaBMcCall, all one word, @gmail.com. Let me say that again, SeletaBMcCall, all one word, @gmail.com. All right, so, wow. So we talked about goals, and I think I want to continue on goals and time management. And then we're going to get into something that's real, real tricky or real, real important. Okay? And I think you're going to like it. I really think you're going to like it. Wow. All right. So let's talk about, I want to ask 4 questions, and I want you to take time out to answer them. And again, this will be a great, great sheet for you guys to use. It says, what are some of the benefits of effective time management in life? Think of your financial, relationship, and health benefits. So, I picked goals, deadlines, being considerate of others, sense of accomplishment, and then what would be the benefits? Less stress. Just less stress. It says, are time management and memory related to each other? Yes. Because of what you do, I can't even read my own hair, I ain't be done. In the managing of time, tasks, deadlines, and due dates. So you have to keep in mind what everything that you need to do. Set you up a to-do list and put a timeline and put a time began and a time end. And that can help you. That helps with your memory and how you're going to manage your time. Now, what I've learned is because I have a radio station, and it's Universal Collective Network, and I do some of my own programming. So the biggest thing I have to do is make sure that I'm programming my programs in place in the time slots that they belong in, and that it meets that time slot. Because, like, for instance, say a show comes on at 12 o'clock, but it goes off at 12:45. I got to know that time slot should go from 12 to 12:45. If I take it and make it into an hour and it's only a 45-minute show, then I have to fill in. I have to put some fillers in to make that whole hour. Okay. Now I have to remember those time slots so that it would be easier for me to go back if I needed to do any changes. I'll know where I need to do those changes at. So that can fall up under timelines and management of time, and knowing how to deal with that time slot that you're using at that time. I know I'm saying time too many times. That was an example I thought of. Another example of managing your time is, say you have a doctor's appointment, okay? But you have a lot of things you have to do prior to you going to that doctor's appointment, and you have to leave on time. So you set yourself up. Say you have, okay, I said before I leave, I need to vacuum the floor. So I need to set up a time to vacuum the floor, wash dishes, or put the dishes in the dishwasher, clean off the stove. All of those have to have a timeline for you, if you're that type of person. I do it without writing it down, because I know I look at the time. I know I got about an hour and a half prior to an appointment. I know in that time limit I have to also get dressed and get ready to go. But if I have time prior to that, that's the time when I do all my cleaning up, putting things up, placing stuff, vacuuming, dusting, doing all that prior to me leaving. So when I come home, I don't have to worry about that. I can relax. See, I don't have any kids at home. We have 2 dogs and my husband. When he gets off work, that's just us here. So we don't have to worry about soccer. We don't have to worry about any of those other things because it's just us here. So we eat when we want to or whatever. If I want to cook, I'm at a point where it's not something to brag about, but I don't always have to cook, because sometimes we don't eat full meals now, because there's nobody else to cook for but him. And most of the time, when I do cook, I cook a full meal for both of us. But majority of the time, we just don't do a lot of cooking. Okay, and plus he can cook himself. Wow. Okay, number 3, and I hope I didn't get off subject. I don't want to get off subject, but I was thinking about time and deadlines. Now, number 3 says, not everyone struggles with memory issues, but as we age, our memory, short and long term, is something that we all want to maintain with a healthy lifestyle. What are some of the things you can do on a daily basis as part of a healthy lifestyle that will support maintain memory functions? I said, use index cards, prepare a total calendar of events, set up a reminder on your phone, which I definitely do. I set up a reminder when I eat because I have issues with eating. I say I forget to eat. Some of the medications that I take keeps me from remembering to eat my food. So I forget to eat. Use sticky notes, reading a book, keep hydrated, music, and get your sleep in. All those things can affect our lifestyle in order for us to have a healthy lifestyle to deal with our memory. Then they say they have some different vitamins or supplements that you can take for your memory. Are there any time management strategies, tools that you have used in the past that were successful? Again, sticky notes. I use a tablet, a schedule events. Posting boards are great for that. Matter of fact, I made mine. You can't see my whole room, my office /room / everything. It's my everything room. I hate to say it, but I do a lot of things in this room. What I did, I redesigned it, and I redesigned my posting board to match my curtains and all the decor in here. So it's so cute. I wish I could show it to you. Maybe I'll show it to you in the next video. It'd be nice, huh? All right. So those are the things that we can do. Oh, wow. Then guess what I have? I have a to-do list, which I definitely want to show you guys. It says there is a list and you can use A, B, or C. A is for today. B is for this week. This is and C is for this month. Things that you have to do this month. It says we have to know what we have. What is an A, B, C type item? Buy milk. Is that an A, B, or C? Pick up prescriptions. Call doctor. Water plants. Vacuum living room. Visit sick uncle. Call child's school. Buy B-day birthday for mom. Cards for mom. Return books to library. All of these are errands, and what you want to do is you want to break them down and see where you want to pull them at. And I can't wait to do this. I cannot wait to show you guys this. This thing is so awesome. Okay, we're going to be doing that. Definitely. I'm going to put up the sheets for that you can download. Now, oh wow, we're down to 4 more minutes left in the show. All right, in this episode. Okay. Then we're going to talk about, I really need to stay on time management. But, okay, I tell you what, this is going to be a brief over everything that we're talking about. And then we'll get into in-depth. I want to get in-depth on everything that we're talking about. Okay, let's then talk about money. What is a big thing? That's why I think we're going to come back and talk about money on the next episode, because I am going to be running out of time. And I think it's very important that we talk about money. So, I'm going to end right there with that one. But I'm going to make sure that we get deep into time management. And I think I might bring some more treats to talk more about time management, because I think that's very, very important. That we do, because it all has a lot to do with how the way we manage our time has a lot to do with our stress levels. And we might not understand that, but I think it's very important that we discuss that. And it is very important we know which direction to go in when it comes to our time management and our mental health, because that's what we're on. You guys, I want to say right now, thank you for listening into it. Like I said, you can look at this video on my video blog, this is what they call it, on my WordPress blog called Video Couch. And I will be uploading this one. And I think the one from the other day, I think episode 6 has not been uploaded yet. So look forward to watching this on there. Definitely. For right now, and I want to say, you guys, thank you for watching and listening. And I hope and pray that you guys are learning from this these videos. I think they're going to be very, very important in the long run. And please, just be patient. Things will work out the way that you want to, but you got to believe in yourself. I'm saying this not only to you, but to myself, because sometimes I find myself getting down, because we all do it. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like I'm this happy-go-lucky person 24/7, because I would be lying to you guys. It's not like that all the time. Okay, so I just want to say, you guys, keep your heads up. Things are going to work out. Just watch it, okay? And if it doesn't, guess what? There's nothing wrong with failure. It's nothing wrong with failure. Keep that in mind. There's nothing wrong with failure. Failure happens to a lot of people, okay? So, this is Celeta. I want to say thank you guys for listening into Video Couch. Stay tuned for our next episode. Again, if you want to contact me, you can contact me at my email address, at CeletaBMcCall@gmail.com. That's CELETA, B as in boy, MCCALL @gmail.com. Again, you guys, thank you, and bye-bye.